Hello, today I'm looking at Majjhima Nikaya number 68, which is the Nalakapana Sutta, or translated as at Nalakapana. So the location is Nalakapana, that's in the Kosalan country, in the Palasa Grove. Now the people mentioned, Buddha's involved with this, there's a Sangha or community of monks, Sangha of Bhikkhus, and the other person in it is the Venerable Anuruddha. Now there's also mentioned that this area, there's a lot of former clansmen from the Kosalan country who are now bhikkhus. So it mentions the Venerable Nandiya, the Venerable Kimbala, the Venerable Bagu, the Venerable Kundadana, the Venerable Ravata, the Venerable Ananda, and others. So it starts off with Buddha asking the assembled folk, those clansmen who've gone into homelessness under me, do they delight in the holy life? To which Buddha receives no reply. So he repeats the question and again gets no reply. So he repeats the question again and again gets no reply. So Buddha considers perhaps it would be better to ask one person individually. So he addresses the Venerable Anuruddha. Do you all delight in the holy life? We do, replies Anuruddha. That is good, replies Buddha. It is right that all you clansmen who have gone forth out of faith into the homeless life to delight in the homeless life. As you are still young, in the prime of life, you could have indulged in sense pleasures. It is not that you have been forced into the homeless life by kings or by thieves or by debt, by fear, by want of a livelihood. Rather, did you not go forth into the homeless life after considering thus? I am a victim of birth, aging and death, of sorrow, lamentation and despair, grief and pain. I am a victim of discontent, a prey to discontent. Surely there is a way to end this discontent. Yes, Venerable Sir, came the reply. So what should be done, Anuruddha, by a clansman who has gone forth thus? While he still does not yet attain to the raptures and pleasures that are beyond the sense pleasures and unwholesome states, that is, has not yet entered into the jhanas. Covetousness invades him, his mind, and remains. Also ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, doubt, discontent, weariness, all invade his mind and remain. When he does attain rapture and pleasure through the jhanas, none of these occur. Buddha continues, Anuruddha, do you all think of me in this way, that the Tathagata has not abandoned the taints that defile him, that defile people, the taints that bring about renewal of being, give trouble, ripen in discontent, and then lead to future birth, aging, and death. That is why I, the Tathagata, have techniques to quell the taints by using, by enduring, by avoiding. So this is sort of a reference back to the taints as mentioned in Majjhima Nikaya number 2, Sutta number 2. And the reply to the question from Anuruddha is that no, the Sangha does not think this. They think that the Tathagata has abandoned all the taints. Indeed I have, replied Buddha. I have abandoned the taints, cut them off at the root, cut them off like a palm stump, so they are no longer subject to future arising. And what do you think, Anuruddha? What purpose does the Tathagata see that when a follower dies, he declares his reappearance thus, the follower has reappeared in such and such a place? Anuruddha is not sure, so he asks for further explanation. Anuruddha, says Buddha, I do not declare my knowledge of their rebirth for the purpose of scheming or deceit or for flattering people or for gain, honour or renown. It is because there are faithful clansmen inspired and gladdened and reassured. Buddha continues, a bhikkhu hears thus, the bhikkhu named so-and-so has died. The Blessed One declared of him that he was an arahant, so fully enlightened. And the bhikkhu has heard of the departed bhikkhu, that his virtue was thus, his state of concentration was thus, his wisdom was thus, his abiding in attainments was thus, his deliverance was thus. Recollecting the departed one's faith, virtue, learning, generosity and wisdom, the bhikkhu directs his mind to achieve the same state. In this way, the bhikkhu has reassurance, a comfortable abiding. Buddha then continues, exemplifying a bhikkhu who has died, that Buddha has declared that this departed bhikkhu has destroyed the 5 lower fetters, that's identity view, uncertainty, grasping at precepts and practices, sense desire and ill will. So this bhikkhu has died, he will reappear spontaneously in the pure abodes and there attain final nirvana without ever returning from that world. So if he, a follower, also directs his mind, a bhikkhu also directs his mind to such a state, he will have reassurance and comfortable abiding. So I'm understanding this to mean that when a person starts out in homeless life and is full of the doubts and worries and concerns and so on and so forth, that on seeing a more developed person, a bhikkhu, the novice should gain comfort and solace from seeing the state and the result of more enlightened persons. And the next case mentioned by Buddha is the recently deceased bhikkhu who has destroyed the 3 fetters and attenuated lust, hatred and delusion. This bhikkhu has become a once-returner, returning once to this world to make an end of suffering. Or there is the bhikkhu who has died, who has only destroyed the 3 fetters. He has become a stream enterer, no longer subject to perdition, and he is headed for enlightenment. Buddha then goes on then to mention a bhikkhuni, that's the female monk. She hears thus, that a bhikkhuni has died, that the Blessed One declared that this deceased bhikkhuni was established in final knowledge. And the bhikkhuni has heard this, that the deceased lady's virtue was thus, her state of concentration thus, her wisdom thus, her abiding in attainments thus, her deliverance thus, was thus. Recollecting this faith, virtue, learning, generosity and wisdom, she directs her mind to such a state, and in this way the bhikkhuni has a comfortable abiding, has reassurance. Buddha then repeats the teaching about the progress of the departed bhikkhus, but relates this to bhikkhunis as having the same effect. The lesson is repeated, but applying to male lay followers, that a lay follower will take heart and have pleasure, a pleasant abiding. But this doesn't start obviously from the position of enlightenment, but starts with the position of a lay follower destroying the 5 lower fetters. And then this repeats again for a female lay follower, again starting at the 5 lower fetters. Buddha then sums up that it is for the altruistic purpose of reassuring his followers that he declares the reappearance of his followers. It is not for scheming, deceit, flattery, gain, honour or renown. And so ends Majjhima Nikaya number 68. Thanks for watching.